Welcome to 50 Ways to Succeed at Work, where you hear stuff about ways to succeed even the most well-intentioned colleagues, advisors, careers officers and HR departments may never get around to mentioning. This is episode 24, Handbook Happy. Study any new employee notes or handbooks. Boris stares at the email from his boss Jansen. His heart sinks, and reaching for the phone, calls his long-term mentor for advice.
Ben, look, all I've got is this brief note. Plus he says he's away for 3 weeks, so I can't even discuss it with him. He says my next assignment is to create a company handbook. Yeah, there's a short list of things to include and what to leave out. But he also says to look at successful guides and produce one suitable for his organisation's culture.
Wait, you mean there's no budget, deadline, or where to go if you get stuck or hit problems? Why don't you just start by reviewing the quality handbooks by other organisations? You know, for example, I once came across this one that said working for the organisation is a fearless adventure in knowing what to do when no one's there telling you what to do. It looks like Jansen's saying, do your best and you're on your own.
Thanks for your advice, Ben. I'll let you know how I get on.
Boris reads the advice offered to employees on their first day in one company called Valve. It claims a unique way of doing things. We'll make this the greatest professional experience of your life, but it can take some getting used to.
Maybe I should go work for Valve.
Next, he comes across the US retailer Nordstrom's famous rulebook. It claims only one rule for employees: use good judgment in all situations. But a closer look reveals it's rather more complicated than that. Boris loves the comic book version invented by one of the employees at one retailer. Should he commission a cartoon version? Then a brainwave hits.
Yeah, that's it. I'll base our next handbook on answering the fears, worries and queries of those receiving the booklet. I'll create a focus group of our newest recruits and extract their experience since joining.
Part of Boris's brainwave was the realization of how important the information is for many of the intended audience. Some have no clue about the organization's culture. Others worry about dress code and expectations about arriving on time, whether at the office or via virtual meetings. His final brainwave is to turn the so-called booklet into an online app that recruits can keep on their smartphones.
Hey Boris, how'd you get on? What'd you come up with?
Yeah, I had great fun meeting up with Jansen at last, Ben. He asked to see the booklet, and I just shrugged and said, there's no booklet. My research shows that the target audience hates such things.
That's pretty brave. Did he explode?
Well, yeah, he was about to, of course, but I took out my phone and showed him the first iteration of the new app. It needs refining, I explained, but our target audience says it's great. By the way, it isn't an employee handbook either. It's a culture guide. He loved it, and we're now going to go ahead and implement it.
Now let's use Boris's experience to consider your work situation at work. When it comes to organisation handbooks, people tend to have three main questions. Do I need to read our organisation's handbook? What can I expect from my organisation's handbook? And how can the handbook make a difference in my work? Yes, reading the handbook is sensible if you want to get a better handle on your organisation's culture. That is the way we do things around here. That includes the work environment, company policies, and any information that makes it easier for you to fit in. Look for a description of the organization's purpose, its mission, values, and culture. These may be vague, but can help you understand how your organization operates. It would also explain what's expected regarding workplace behavior and performance. Much of the information you come across isn't really for you. It protects the organization from possible litigation for not telling you the essentials such as health and safety rules. It's also there to help managers impose uniformity across the organization, which helps them with control. While reading the organization's handbook or watching a video about it, ask yourself, what does this tell me about the organization's culture and core values? What rules seem essential that I'd better not ignore? Is there anything I don't understand here, and does it seem to matter? Employee handbooks are notoriously dull and try to do far too much. What can you expect from yours? Well, there should be something about core values and goals unique to your organization. And many also include information on the organization's history, culture, values, and mission statement. There's usually information on human resources and legal information, as well as rights and obligations related to employment. There's realistic expectations about what the company expects to see from its employees and what employees can expect from the company. And there'll be company policies about vacation time, sick days, non-discrimination, and so on. The handbook probably won't be inspiring or fun unless your organization is exceptionally creative. You can expect helpful information that makes the first few weeks of employment more understandable. You can also expect it to raise more questions than it answers. Assuming you have a handbook, can it make a difference to your work? Much depends, of course, on how it's produced and the contents. At a minimum, it should help you avoid inadvertently breaking the organization's rules, especially the less obvious ones. If you don't read that handbook, you could violate one accidentally. You may also discover benefits that you didn't know about, such as an annual fitness subsidy or money towards educational materials or courses. Time spent going through that handbook could put money back in your pocket. So what action am I proposing? Well, first, treat the employee handbook as a window into the organization. Use it to check out the organization's culture and how decisions are made. And discover from the handbook what the employer expects from you. And my takeaway from all of this? Devote time to any handbook or employment that you do receive, as it can help you settle in more quickly and save you from having to ask countless questions. You've been listening to an episode of Andrew's 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. For more episodes, subscribe free to my regular weekly podcasts. You can catch up on past ones at the 50ways.site, where you can also become a Foundation member with access to e-learning units, further reading links, and the forum, where you can ask questions, share problems, and join a growing community of people who seriously want to succeed at work. Now there's a new book and an audio version called, you guessed it, 50 Ways to Succeed at Work. Buy it at Amazon or the 50ways.site. Unmissable. Thanks for listening, and bye for now until next week.